Hey YouTube, this is my third and final video, um, and this is going to be about my actual driving experience. Now, I only drove for them for 1 month, 4 weeks is going to be, and I'm going to be handing in my resignation. The reason for it is, to me, it just seems like the miles aren't there. They are a little dysfunctional from dispatch standpoint, from getting loads to communicating what needs to happen and what's going on, and I'm okay with that because that's going to be everywhere. I feel like just from talking to drivers, so I try to be mentally prepared. But I mean, it was affecting me too much, and then when it started affecting me, my bottom line, my bottom dollar, that's when I finally had enough and I said, hey, I gotta go. I don't think it's going to get any better than this. I've gave 4 weeks for this to try to be fixed, and I'm probably getting averaging probably about 1,100 to 1,200 miles a week. Well, if you do the math, that's not good. So I'll just talk about it right here. Basically, I was driving east of the Mississippi, and I was getting runs from Georgia to Ohio, or, getting about 300, 400 mile runs. I will give them that. The problem is, though, you may only get 2 of those a week, and then you're sitting around having to do resets when you don't need them. Or they're sending you home, for a couple days, because they just don't have the work or the loads. So that's a good thing. If you're somebody that's a new student or new into trucking and home time is important, or you want to ease into it, I think this is a good company for that. But just give you some examples of some of the issues I've had. That's the final straw. Is just recently I went home for a day and I forgot to put my status as off duty, so I stayed on duty. So when I went back to work the next day, I was out of hours of service. However, I did have my backup logbook. Well, I ran for 2 days straight for them, basically logging 500 miles about each day for 2 days. The third day I'm rolling, I'm like, hey, this is great, getting better. And they actually called to shut me down after about 45 minutes of driving and say I was out of hours. Even though I explained to them that, hey, this has been going on all week, I have my backup logbook, they say, no, you need to shut down. Basically, what ended up happening is I'm still here now. They routed me to the nearest truck stop, and I've been here for about 96 hours. So that's basically, you can imagine, that's 2 resets. And the reason why is they said they didn't have a load until Monday. So again, it just seems like they don't have the work to keep me rolling, but I never should have been shut in the first place because legally, technically, I hadn't been driving. That's one issue. The other issue is I'll get things like I'll get a million Qualcomm messages, and of course, no one's going in the right mind to stop every single message to look and see what it says, because once you get your load, your confirmation, and you say you're out, you expect to be rolling, get a little ways to get there. I would constantly get messages, the same message, because at first I would go and check them, of course, like anybody would. It'd be the same message. I'm like, wow, okay. And then they would send me messages confirming that I got that message. And I'm like, hey, I responded to it. Did you not get it? Then I would get messages after all that saying this has been canceled. You need to stop. We're going to send you another run. So I may get that message maybe 30 minutes late by the time I actually put it on the loudspeaker or pull over. So it just seems like, hey, why wouldn't you call? If it's like emergency or drastic changes, just call. That right there bothered me. Night shift and day shift, I heard, because I'm new to trucking, I'm not going to lie, was, it's always I heard was like not a good experience at nighttime. And I experienced it firsthand myself, just with basically no lack of communication, passing on stuff from the day and night shift. For example, I had a run that I was to complete in the morning, and then I had a hot load I was going to be picking up, and taking somewhere. I had a deadline to be meet. When I dropped that load off in the morning, of course the day shift wasn't in. I said, hey, I need a fuel stop before I go to my next stop. They said, you'll get the fuel stop when you get a run. I said, I already got my run. I just need the fuel stop. No, you don't. So I had to give them the order number. They still came back and said, no, you don't. That run didn't cancel. Okay, because you trust and believe them. 2.5 hours later, once day shift comes in, they get back through the Qualcomm and say, oh, I'm sorry, that run hasn't been canceled. Can you go ahead and take it, and we'll give you a fuel stop. The fuel stop they gave me was actually 20 miles back in the opposite direction. And then, of course, it messed up my clock, because I had started earlier that day anticipating this is how I was going to run my day. And then I kind of got screwed. I get to a location. I was 3 hours late. They had a skeleton crew guy there waiting on me, and that looks bad on me. But also too, I ran out of hours on this person's lot, and of course you can't park there. So it was just similar things like this that I thought I was just undue stress. But the bottom line is, all that stuff I can deal with. I think anybody can deal with. The part I can't deal with is the miles, the pay. You know, like, I don't care if you give me 30 cents a mile, which, by the way, their pay scale, it's not sliding, but it's very confusing. And I'm no dummy. I know how to read a pay sheet, you know, a paycheck stub. And to me, it should reflect, it should easily say something like how many cents you make per mile, how many total miles you did for the week, or at least be able to add it up, and then that should be your gross. Not here. It's nothing like that at all. I mean, I'll let them explain it to you, because I don't want to get in no trouble by, you know, making it sound like I'm really trying to badmouth. I'm just saying what my experience was, and it was very confusing. And so I did have 2 pay issues with them. They did correct it that actual same day, because they opened up payroll again. So I guess it probably was the only one. But like I said, I've been driving them for 4 weeks. And it's happened 2 out of the 4 weeks. So you can imagine. Also, you know, everyone advertises this like bonus, you know, bonus money, sign-on bonus. I'm not sure when it was going to affect me or tick in, because, you know, you talk to one person, it's one thing, another person, another thing. Talk to drivers out here, they say something totally different, but I never got any of the bonus. Like I said, I've been with them now for about 2 months, 1 month of actual driving on my own. So, do I think it's a good company? Yes or no? I'm going to say overall, I mean, if they can work out those kinks, I would say it's a decent company, you know. They do get you home on time. They do like for you to be home. So if you like to chill and be at home, this is the company for you. But the pay, yeah, the pay never equaled out to what I thought. I mean, I even had the dispatch tell me I can't expect to make what seasoned drivers make, and I'm like, right, but I expect to get like at least 2,000 miles though. You know, I'm over the road driver, want to be out here for weeks. Don't give me 1,200 miles a week and think I'm going to be happy and satisfied, because what's the point of being out here sleeping in this truck for that much? But it is what it is. If you have any questions specifically, I'll be sure to let you know. Thanks.